I'm Nancy from Black Sheep Knitting here in Needham, Massachusetts, and I'm in our yarn shop, Black Sheep Knitting, where and you can hear street noise, sorry about that. We talk about projects and yarn and not so much about what we're doing, but I like to give you helpful hints and things that I've been thinking about. One of them today is people come in and ask me to measure for them, which, okay, that's fine, but we all know how to use measuring tape. So I'm going to give you some tips on measuring so that you don't have to drive in here, although we love to see you, and we love it that you come in, and sometimes you buy yarn when you come in. But I want to show you how I measure. And so this is something which I'll tell you about later. But if I were to measure this, and I don't know if Robin you can see down here, if I were to measure this, I would hold it out like so, and I would have my measuring tape, which I will get. Actually, I have a ruler here. And I would just simply put it, without stretching anything, put it like so. And I would measure, and you could include about half of what's on the needle. Because if you're measuring, that's an actual row that you have knit. So if I were looking at this, and my inches start here, I have 1, 2, 3, and 3 7/8. Now, does 3 7/8 matter? Well, if you're measuring in terms of the length of something, suppose you want to know how long to make a sleeve, or a measurement from your underarm to your hip, 7/8, an eighth more, an eighth less, a quarter more, a quarter less, doesn't matter. So don't get fussy about it. You don't need to. And if you're measuring on sleeves, you know, what's a quarter of an inch? Does it matter on your sleeve? Not that much. Where it does matter is that you want both sleeves to match, you know, so that they're the same. It also matters if you are measuring a gauge. And the reason for that is, if you're off, and I did some calculations and I don't know if I had it here with me, but if you're off by, say you have a gauge of 4 stitches per inch, and you have a circumference that is maybe 40 stitches, if you're off by a quarter of a stitch or a half a stitch, in terms of that circumference, you can have a very different measurement than the gauge. So yes, that does matter. And you know, you simply just, and these are great. I think I ordered more of these, but I'm not sure. This has a magnifier on it, and you can simply put it down on your swatch. And my method of measuring is the stitches per inch, and I move this around. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 stitches to the inch. If it's 5 1/4, you want to measure 5 1/4 and make sure that that's going to work for you. If you're not close, if you're off by a half or a quarter of a stitch, I would say change your needle size. You can, if you cast, say this is supposed to be 4 stitches to the inch, you can cast on 16 stitches, and then measure the whole thing. The problem with that is if you're in stockinette, you see how this curls? It's hard to get an accurate read. So on a swatch, I would always cast on more stitches than you need, and then measure. So here I could measure 4 inches, and then I could say how many stitches are within those 4 inches. And that's a much more accurate measurement. So just a little hint on that. I wanted to show you what I'm wearing. This is called the Weekend Cowl, because you can make it in a weekend. This is done on a size 15 needle, and the beauty of this pattern is, so I cast on 100 stitches. So 100 stitches on a 15 needle goes right over my shoulders. And then I wanted it to get smaller as it went up, so that, you know, when I get on my coat, I can do this and it covers up my neck, which is great. But, you know, wearing it here, and I can tell you this is so warm. It's so cozy. So what I did was I knit, and so you can change the amount of stitches that you cast on. What I started with was a size 15 needle. Then I added this beige color, and I knit 2 rows, and then I went to a size 13 needle. And then I knit another, I forget how many rows, and then I finished it off with a size 11. So that made it go like this. Now you can use that formula with anything, with any gauge, anything you want. And we, somebody just came in, sorry. So you can change what yarn you're using, and you can change the colors. Who is that? Oh, it's Agnes. I couldn't, Agnes was so wrapped up. She just walked up. We couldn't recognize who it was. Come in, come in.
Who has a key?
Yeah, you're right, she had a key, so I had to know it had to be Agnes. So anyway, I put some colors together for you, and maybe we'll make kits, or you could just get them off the website. The yarn I used is Usha, and literally the reason I called this the Weekend Cowl, you really can make this in a weekend. So if you've got some Christmas gifts that you need to do, you can do this really in a weekend, because it's nice and thick. And the Usha is made with 98% wool and 2% polyamide. It's super soft, and it has a chainette construction. And the nice thing about a chainette construction is that it's lightweight and it traps air in there, meaning it'll take the warmth from your body and store it inside the yarn and keep you warm. So these are the 2 colors that I use, charcoal gray and oyster mushroom. But I have some others to show you that I thought were fun. These are 2 blues, and this is a blue. This one is called cornflower blue, and it's got sort of a red running through it, and the other one is midnight blue. So they're kind of fun, similar. Now you could do this all in one color, and by the way, this is it takes 2 skeins to do this. And I have some others over here, combinations that I liked. And this is sage and emerald, and I thought those were quite pretty together. And you could also stripe this. There are lots of things you can do. Or you could, you know, do one color change, one, you know, in color blocks. This is copper, and this is sage again, which I thought were pretty. So they all, you could do these 2 together, the oyster mushroom. And this one, this is a combination I really love, the copper with emerald. And then I pulled out Rasta, our favorite yarn, and we have a lot of Rasta. And I just pulled out 2 colorways that you could do. And you can use the same needles with it. This is Purple Mystery with Anniversario. Thought those were fun together. And then again, my other color combo that I like, this is Sunset with Teal Feather, 2 of my, these are favorites of mine as well. So we have lots of choices of that. And the pattern will be out tomorrow, and maybe we'll make kits, or you can just look on the website and put colors together. Another thing I wanted to show you, which I have to take the microphone, well, I'll just show you this way. I was wearing this today before I put on this cowl, so I thought I would show you. This is called First Point of Libra, and this is a shawl that I've really loved. You can see it's a nice, big, generous shawl, and it's made with, I thought I'd bring out the colors because there's so many possibilities. You can make it all with Road to China Light. I used this, and then I used some fingering weights with it, which were fine, for the other colors. So I have 1, 2, 3 other colors in here, and there's stripes in it. It's just, I think, fun to wear. So I'll show you again. And some of the other colors in Road to China Light, and you could do this all in Road to China Light. This is hematite and gray pearl. This is, I'm looking in the wrong place, cobalt and carnelian, but this yarn is super, super soft to wear. And sapphire and red jasper. And a lot of these would go together. They're really pretty. But you can also do, as I said, fingering weight. And I have apatite and tourmaline and gray pearl. Well, these are some really beautiful yarns, but you could also take a lot of this, I think it's maybe 3 skeins of this, and then add, you could take your scraps of fingering that you have at home, leftovers, and put it together with this really luxurious, yummy yarn. And I'll tell you again what's in this because I've showed it before. But it's 65% alpaca, 15 silk, 10 camel, and 10 cashmere. What a combo. Want to stop? And I had a thought. This 1 skein of this makes a wonderful Sophie scarf, which is the little scarf that goes around your neck that we all love. And as Robin was saying, while she was on vacation, she just made a couple of them. They went 4? She made 4. She was on an airplane. But this is the time of year for gift giving. So I thought I would start these weeks and show you items that I think are nice for gifts. One thing that is nice are kits, and we'll have some more kits available. And those are always great to give to a knitter. Or you can knit something if you're thinking. And we're trying to make our kits simple. Like this is a simple, quick knit. You could make 2 or 3 of these before Christmas for people. And when I tell you this is warm and cozy, it sure is. It's on a day like today. And then if I go get in my coat, I just close it over like this. Okay, I have the microphone on here, so that's not really working, but that's how you do it. So the kits are fun and good. I had a couple little things I thought I would show you, and I think I showed these before, but they're a great gift for a knitter. These are the buttons that you can just use. They just come off a leather backing and they have a little ball on the end. And you can use those to close a shawl or a sweater that doesn't have buttons. And if you're like me, you don't necessarily like to put buttons on things. And so you can do that and in place of a permanent button. These come in, they're different shapes. So I'll show you. There's this shape. It's kind of an oval. And this is not quite a trapezoid. I don't know what you'd call it. And kind of a triangle, modified triangle. But they have beautiful designs on them. And so you can buy, these come 3 in a kit. But you can also get just 1. And these are great also for shawls or just a sweater that only needs 1. And they come in different shapes. And I think there's some that are brass as well. Another item that I think is a great, I think that's all I had out, that are great to give are eucalyptus soap. Now this is a wool wash. You don't even have to rinse it. You can put your item in the sink. Like if you're giving somebody a scarf or something, you could give them, they come in 2 sizes. You could give one of these with them so that they'll know how to take care of it, how to wash the item. And they come in different flavors. This is lavender, but there's a jasmine, which is my favorite. And there's also eucalyptus, and there's one that doesn't have a scent. So that's a nice little gift for someone if you want just a quick gift, or you want to include it with something you've knit for someone. And last but not least, of course we have lots of other things. We have these beautiful handcrafted wood shawl pins. And I think these are really pretty. Pretty designs. Gosh, you could probably even use this as a hair pin, now that I think of it. But this, I love this one. And here, if you're a sheep lover, as am I, this is a nice one. And then finally this oval. So we have these in the shop. They're reasonably priced, and it's a nice gift for a knitter or somebody who likes to wear shawls. I thought I would show you a little project that I'm doing for my grandchildren, and they don't watch this, so I'm free to, because they're too little. But if your grandchildren or children or someone you know watches Bluey, which my grandchildren love, and they're 2 little Australian dogs. It's a cartoon, kind of. And actually, Bluey is a girl, and I think this is Ginger. They're sisters. I always thought Bluey was a boy, but he's not. So I'm going to knit these for my grandchildren. I've started, and this is something you can do in a couple of days, because it's just, this is the body. They're not very big. There are just several pieces. It's all knit back and forth, all the pieces, and they're sewn. So, and then you just stuff it with fiberfill. So if you're looking for a little gift for somebody who's got everything, I bet they don't have a Bluey. So, and 2 last things, or 1 last thing. I wanted to show you, I think I may have shown this when I started it. This is called, okay, be prepared, Nancy. It's a Barocco pattern, and it's called Weir. And it is a, not a deep V-neck, but it's a V-necked sweater with a band, a wider band than most V-necks. And I'm making it in, I just blanked on the name. I'm making it in Wool Addicts. This is Wool Addicts Footprints, which is a wool and cotton variegated with Issei or mohair. And I had seen this made up by our rep Andra from Barocco, and I just loved it. So I'm this far. I accidentally pulled the stitches off my needle here, but it's a dropped shoulder with a V-neck, and it's knit in pieces. And I'm on a size 7 needle, and I can't wait to finish this, because I just love how the mohair has blended with the wool and cotton. So if you're looking for a quick, simple, and this is a really simple sweater, because you just knit the front and the back, and you pick up stitches for the sleeve and do your decreases, and then I'm going to pick up stitches around the neck and do the band, the neck band, and then sew up the seams. And much as I like knitting in the round, it's fun to knit in the round, but I also like seamed projects because it's more stable. This whole sweater is more stable because you've got these seams on either side. So it's worth doing one. I think they're fun. And you get a nice, well, most sweaters have a nice seam up here. And I suppose you could do something different. You could, I could have, but I decided to follow the pattern exactly. I could have seamed this and then picked up stitches all the way around and knit this in the round, the sleeve, but I chose not to do that. And I think the pattern has a much longer back, and I chose not to make the back much longer. So mine is only a little bit longer. Anyway, that's my current project. I hope you're having fun knitting gifts. We have lots of ideas for gifts. We have a wonderful headband pattern that Robin's been doing in Rasta that you can do that in a night. And they're also, there's some Rasta mittens called lightning fast mittens that you can look up. They can be knit in a night. And any of the Rasta hats, the Rasta bulky hat, or bulky Rasta hat, I forget how it's worded. But, you know, things done in Rasta or in this Usha are really quick knits, and they're cozy and warm for the winter. So I think that's all I have for today, and I hope you have a happy week of knitting. It's now cold these days, although I heard it might warm up a little bit. And our mail person is here. So I'm going to say goodbye and have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye-bye.